Seterusnya, persekitaran pasaran ekuiti serantau mahupun antarabangsa semakin tidak menentu dipacu beberapa faktor termasuk harga komoditi, kelemahan ekonomi China dan juga tindakan Jepun yang menetapkan kadar faedah pada negatif, dan ia sekaligus menjadikan pelabur mencari instrumen pelaburan lebih selamat termasuk dalam bond dan mata wang tertentu. Dan untuk mengulas lanjut, kita bersama dengan Ketua Pendapatan Tetap Affin Hwang Asset Management Berhad, Esther Teo. Esther, thank you for joining us at this time. Now, first of all, investors are now looking at safer instruments of investments, including bonds and currencies. How can Malaysia take advantage of this?
Indeed, it has been a challenging start to 2016 for risky assets. Investors have been concerned with emerging market growth, the sharp drop in commodity prices, hard landing concern in China and the yuan depreciation, and now we have some concern about European banks. Given all these risk events, we have seen bonds outperforming equities and some portfolio inflows into fixed income, especially into government bonds market. Malaysia has benefited a lot from this movement, especially to our government bond market. Our investors, our bond market has remained attractive with a yield of 3 to 4% as compared to other regional bond markets such as Thailand and Korea, where bond yields are much lower.
Esther, Japan has registered negative yield for its bond. Will this be a trend moving forward for other bonds, maybe?
Yes, Japan has become the latest major central bank to embark on a negative interest rate in the recent weeks. And the market believes that the Japan government has more room to cut interest rates to come. About 15 countries now, many in Europe, are experiencing negative interest rates. There has been some speculation that the US may also contemplate a negative interest rate strategy. However, we think that this is unlikely as they are on a path of trying to normalize interest rates in the US. In Asia, most central banks still have a healthy buffer before hitting zero interest rates. But definitely, we think the direction of interest rate is towards the downside for most countries globally.
And lastly, investors will be waiting for Janet Yellen's announcement this evening. Do you think the Fed will continue with its plan to increase interest rates this year? And if so, how will this affect appetite for bonds?
Well, after the Fed hiked interest rates by 25 basis points in December, the Fed has guided the market that they will hike interest rates about 4 times in 2016, which is about a total of 100 basis points hike. However, given the recent events, as I mentioned earlier, the bond market as well as the currency market, especially the US dollar movement, is telling the market that it is paring down their expectation of a major interest rate hikes in the US. The US dollar has been appreciating last year on the back of this US interest rate hike cycle. However, we have seen that trend reverse in recent weeks, and the US dollar have corrected against 14 major currencies this month alone. This reflects that the market is repricing the risk of further rate hikes in the US. As of today, the market only priced in a 30% probability of a rate hike in the US this year. While we think that the Fed still wants to normalize interest rates in the US, and the job market seems to be supportive of such movements. However, we think that the rate hike cycle in the US will be very gradual because inflation is not an issue in the US and other parts of the world, given where commodity prices are. And with the current volatility in the financial markets and the Fed concern that the US dollar strength has been very tightening in terms of monetary condition in the US, we are only expecting about 1 to 2 hikes in 2016. What this means for the bond market is that global bond yields will remain low for 2016, and this will be supportive for fixed income markets.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Esther, for joining us.
Thank you.
Itu tadi Esther Teo, iaitu Ketua Pendapatan Tetap Affin Hwang Asset Management Berhad, membincangkan tentang pasaran bond.